Good morning or good evening. Welcome to an unplanned and impromptu live stream. How's everybody this morning? As I said in the description, last week I ran this game looking for performance on a 1080p monitor and then on windowed 1080p. And I was running on medium settings. Now, since then, the Vulkan drivers on my system have been updated, I don't know how many times, 2 or 3. It's fairly normal. And when I was fiddling around this morning, I came across this. And this is actually set on Epic. And I'm running at 65 frames a second while streaming. And I can tell you right now that I think streaming takes up about 25% of the graphics card, which is a substantial amount, and I had not appreciated that. So I can only assume the improvement in performance is a combination of things. It's the drivers and the scene I'm looking at. It's worth noting that actually often more or less the direction we're looking, in fact I think it's actually over that way, is the world edge. And it may be that that is why when you look in one direction, you get improved performance over looking in, say... Okay, I'm lying, obviously. I just hit 120 frames a second. Okay, ignore everything I just said. I thought I had this sort of planned out. World Edge is over there, I think. So why the World Edge would drop the frame rate down, I don't know. But this is just the walk-around mode. And the whole purpose of this, apart from just having an idle chat and walking around, was to see if I could find a scene that is good for running ASMR later. I might make that a regular thing, because Prologue Wayback has a lot of scenes which are quite nice, to be honest. Although this is kind of weird. I can't tell whether the noise they're hearing there is supposed to be rain or wind. But this actual scene here with Thunder and Lightning is actually not bad, because we've got a nice high location, and the Thunder and Lightning lights up the rocks rather nicely. Yeah, okay. Maybe FSR is kicking in. It's really confusing, the performance on this thing. Like I say, there hasn't been an update, as far as I can tell, with Prologue Wayback since officially the November 24th. But there have been Mesa driver updates. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a scene which makes everybody say, okay, that's jarring. The weather change that we're seeing, I hope they resolve that so that we don't have that kind of thing in future. So what am I looking for? Well, like I say, a nice place to stand, look out over the scenery. I wanted something other than trees. Now I've been wandering around this particular map a bit, and I haven't... I think there are trees lower down, but this is rather reminiscent of, I would say Highland Scotland, but I think there's far too many boulders. And we'll get bogged down in the mud for a bit here. I mean, I say there wasn't an official update. I think there might have been, because I had to redo some of the controls. I just looked at the release updates that Steam is showing, and it says 24th of November. There could easily have been one that, I don't know, for whatever reason they didn't announce. This isn't bad. I mean, like I say, this is, yeah, set to Epic. So, I mean, go figure. Yeah, frame generation's on. Upscaler quality is set to low on the basis that, in principle, I'm not upscaling anything. My understanding of upscaling would be that I would be the game engine would be rendering at a lower resolution and then upscaling it to a higher, but I am not doing that. I'm running at the full 3440 by 1440p. I don't really need to specify the P, do I? Because, I mean, the likelihood you're going to find a game that runs in interlaced mode is pretty low these days. Like, non-existent. But yeah, I kind of do wish they hadn't got such dramatic weather changes. You know, have the clouds change over time. That would be nice. I mean, it grants you, you know, it's early release, so. Other things I'd like to see is being able to type in a seed. You know that there are people who are going to say, oh, you've got to take a look at this seed. And at the moment, we've got no way of doing that in, you know, Minecraft, which uses a similar seed system. I say similar, it has a seed system. They allow you to type in a specific seed, which is very useful for sharing. They should do the same thing here. It would make a lot of sense. The other thing I've seen reference to is custom game settings, so you can set the weather. Among other things, that would also be very useful. Have a custom game setting, because I won't guarantee this, but I can tell you there will be people who might be interested in speedrunning this. You know, you could have the same basic settings which you do in Minecraft. Random seed glitchless, set seed glitchless. I don't know about tool assisted, but how fast can you get to the watchtower? Yeah, this performance is really good up here. And I'm going to bet that if we change to forest, we'll see something different. But I mean, you know, 120 frames a second on Epic. Yeah, that's quite nice. For someone like me who likes ASMR, this game is a gift. And if anybody's watching this later, yeah, I do sometimes go to sleep or take a nap while I've got something like this on in the background. I'm typically streaming it at the time. But not always. Sometimes I'll play the Long Dark soundtrack and take a nap to that. Yeah, I think they say that this is based on places in Eastern Europe, but this could be parts of Scotland. I don't think that. Yeah, I'm not seeing gorse in the same quantity, but the frame cap isn't working, of course. last I checked, I haven't got it up and running, the CPU utilization is not at 100%. Sorry, graphics card utilization is not at 100%. So yeah, like I say, the border, I think, game border is more or less over that way. It does warn you. It says warning approaching, no, warning game map, edge of game map detected, words to that effect. So what I'm looking for is a nice promontory. Yeah, we can look out over the landscape. Oh, yeah, I can think of other settings. Yeah, set the weather, set the season, specify. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we'll head back over this way. Now we're now running along. I don't know what happens if you come across the actually hit the border. I do wish they had animal life present, you know, rabbits, birds. They do have birdsong, of course. And yeah, I can tell you right now, Lucy's jeans would be getting progressively muddier and muddier walking through that. I think we're gonna probably have rain. It normally has rain at night, doesn't it? I've got ideas for ASMR too. If you can light a fire, I don't think you can sit, unfortunately. But yeah, and now it's getting hard to see. This was something that was a bit of a problem during the last ASMR. It got so dark you couldn't really see what was going on. So we'll kick up the gamma, see if that makes a difference. Yeah, it does. Oh, it does for me anyway. Yeah, and it seems to on the preview. You've got to bear in mind too that the preview screen over there does not necessarily 100% accurately represent what I'm seeing on the monitor. I've tried changing settings on all three of my monitors, and in the end I find the best setting is the default, so I don't go messing around changing it. Oops, edge of the world again. Ah, and now look, yeah, the frame rate's dropped. Whereas if I face that way... Oh, that's interesting. It's not making a huge difference. Oh, what is that? Can you see that light crawling across the screen there? I mean, that's not a meteorite, is it? I don't know what that's supposed to be. The first UFO in Prologue. Go way back. Yeah, it's quite obvious too. That's definitely something moving. Oh, for night scenes, this does look a lot better. It looks like a moonlit night. That's because it is a moonlit night. How about that? You know, all kinds of little noises around me. I think some of it is Lucy stepping on stuff. And I can hear, oh, edge of the world again. I must be at a corner. I know you can use a compass. Actually, that's something I would also like to see for this mode, which is hiking mode, if you like. It would be nice to see a compass on the screen and a map. I don't think we can we? No. Let me have a little look at the settings and the key bindings, see what I've missed. No, not seeing anything. Okay. And I think I've said before, this also demonstrates my attitude at the weekends. I wasn't going to stream this morning. I obviously didn't stream yesterday. I didn't do the early morning stream, but then I was thinking about this. And I thought, I wonder, should I do another ASMR with a different scene for this evening? Sorry, for this afternoon. And I thought, well, you know what? Seeing as I'm going to be looking, I might as well share it with my regular subscribers. Of course, in reality, walking through this kind of terrain at night, I'd probably have twisted an ankle by now. Oh, I can hear some kind of bird chirping there. I tell you, okay, I must be in a corner. Either that or it's a very, very small world. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why it would be nice to have a map so I can actually see when I'm hitting the edge of the world. Now I'm gonna have to go round. Yeah, I'd like to see this set in a desert too, you know. And I think the weather's going to change because I think I'm seeing raindrops. It is my impression, looking at this earlier, that the rain quality may have improved, but that is, again, most likely because of the driver updates. Is the sun rising? I don't know how long days are in the game. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you see the way that the weather's coming in. That's almost too fast. It's better than the way Minecraft does it. Minecraft, as I recall, doesn't really change the clouds so much. Although, to be honest, it's been a while since I took a look. I mean, I suppose that's not too bad. Gives you a fairly clear idea of what you're getting. Yeah, those raindrops are almost too big, but then and there's that very odd fuzzy sort of thing. I have got. Oh, there's a wake-up call for everybody watching. It's interesting. I've actually been playing this game now for a total of 11.1 hours. Yeah, make your mind up. I thought I was. I must be at a corner. That's the only thing I can think. Nice detail, the lichen on the rocks there. So I am starting to think that the frame rate is partially dependent on how close you are to the world edge. Yeah, and the weather conditions, and the seed itself, and you get the general drift. Yeah, because if I turn around, it's not making much difference. Yeah, I think the rain's improved. Yes, we can bunny hop through the game. It's funny, you actually get the feeling, oh, I need to take cover. Some of the lightning effects are very good. They do have forked lightning. If you look in the right direction. I'm heading for the watchtower over there. At least in the long dark, that's what we'd call it. You know, this almost reminds me of, I was going to say parts of Arizona, not in necessarily the way it looks, but as you increase in elevation in Arizona, you go through different climate zones and different vegetation zones, and that's true all over the place. So, but yeah, in the higher elevations, you will come across low scrub, somewhat like this at any rate. If you ever take a drive up from, say, Phoenix to Flagstaff and the Grand Canyon, you'll see that change. It's almost like you're in a different country. If you want a real surprise, you go up Mount Lemmon, which overlooks Tucson, and if you go in the winter, yeah, you can go from warm weather to feet of snow. In fact, there's a ski lift up there. That's actually rather nice, it has to be said. Yeah. 60 frames a second. We've got this whole moorland scene. It is interesting. you can see in the near distance, you've got rocks and you've got these small, well, they look a bit like short pines. But when you look over there slightly to the right, on the right-hand side of the screen, in the mid to far distance, you don't really see the detail. It makes it look like it's, well, bare, to be honest, even though we know that if you went to it, you wouldn't find that. And yeah, the draw range has been set to maximum, but this might make it, actually, you know what? This might make for an interesting scene in and of itself. The rain doesn't look too bad. It sounds okay. I may just this is the problem. If I were to go and run the game, hoping to get something which is a little better, because they've got some above the tree line regions which look very nice, better than this, to be honest. But if I were to do that, I wouldn't be able to come back to this, which is why I would very much like to have a method of entering a specific seed, and indeed to be able to have multiple game saves for things like this. At the very least, for free roam mode, that would be a very useful thing to have. For me, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it would be useful for this kind of thing. I'm actually kind of fascinated to see whether or not we... I can't remember. Oh, whether we're going to be playing long enough to see the seasons change. Because that does look quite nice. I say it looks nice. If you've ever been in that kind of environment, Highland Scotland or something, you'll be familiar with this. That's actually a valid point now that I think about it. We've been wandering around this area here. Well, I don't know whether they have it. I would like to see rivers and streams. I think they mention it during the startup. And lakes. Lochs, if you prefer. Give yourself the opportunity to drown, maybe. But again, this is early access. Who knows what this game is going to be like a year from now. Right now, though, it actually has value for me as an ASMR tool. I could easily see myself doing something like this instead of once a month, once a week, on a Sunday, when I'm not doing anything else. Find a suitable spot and just run it, because some, people do watch it, and why not? Yeah. But something I definitely want to experiment with. Can I, how long would a fire last? Can I set something that's got a nice warm glow with the fire in the foreground? Yeah, it looks worse that way. It's kind of interesting. It's an improbably shaped peak over there. It looks like a small pyramid. Being able to stick a waypoint down would be useful too, I'll tell you. Again, for free roam. Now, I'm not proposing it for the actual game. Oh, hello. Excuse me a second. I think something weird happened with my live stream on... Oh no. I think I accidentally switched screens. My bad. It looks quite atmospheric. Yeah, the way that the light reflections are rather nice. And of course the frame rate has tanked. But I'm hoping that's just because of the rain effects. Although earlier when I was doing something similar, the frame rate did not tank this badly. I was staying above 60 frames a second. And yes, we're running. Interesting. The lightning and thunder have a suitable delay there. That's rather nice. Yeah. It's rather nice. Actually, I am going to try a little experiment because I have a suspicion. I am going to stop the game, exit, restart it, and see whether the frame rate is the same, because I know in the demo it did have issues of the game slowing down as you played. Let me just check something here. Oh, this is interesting. One of the things I just did was to see if I'm getting slowed down. I'm looking at G overlay right now. The GPU is it's not at max. It's not at maximum, which is kind of fascinating. It means that there is room for maneuver. In fact, the GPU utilization is all over the place between about 75% and low 90s. So I'm guessing that's because of the rain effects, and that's despite my using a fair old chunk of the GPU to do the encoding you're watching. In fact, OBS is telling me that encoding is overloaded. And that is almost certainly because of the rain effects. I don't know about anyone else, but this rain effect is making me feel soaked to the skin. I'm not even in the game. Of course, if this was Scotland, you'd encounter sheep. Very good chance you would encounter sheep. And rabbits. But what I was going to do, wasn't I? I was going to Oh, that's right, Aranchi overlay. I wanted to see if there were any threads that seemed overloaded. And the simple answer appears to be no, there aren't. So we're now entering the tree line, obviously. Oh, the edge of the world again. Okay. Now I get the feeling that my hair should be soaked and rivulets of water running into my face. Yep, and the frame rate's really not happy with me. So actually that is something for me to try. I am going to restart because earlier, like I said, I was looking at a rain scene and I was getting much better frame rates than this. And so now we're looking at the edge of the world and it's not making a huge amount of difference. Yeah, I've got some optimization to do. So give me a second. Right, so that should clear memory. And now you're looking at my wallpaper. That's, I don't think that's, I think that's from a video game, actually, that wallpaper. I don't know which one. See if this makes any difference. Ah, no, I was wrong. I thought there was something in there about... Ah, yeah, look at that. I restart the game and I'm at 100 and... Yeah. Okay. And the GPU is now stable. It is more or less stable. 80%. Oh no, so yeah, it's stable. It's more stable. Look, that's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, this is what I was seeing earlier with this kind of scene. So yeah, they definitely need to sort out the game engine. 100 frames a second in the rain with trees on Epic at 1440p widescreen. That's actually quite impressive. I know I've said things about the game engine in the past, but like I say, the big change I think that has been to the Vulkan drivers for Linux. Oh, excuse me. I wonder to what extent that drop in frame rate is due to me walking around and it having to load different parts of the map. That might be a thing. Yeah, and I can't see. A flashlight in the game would be handy, and I think I do have. Yeah, I've got the gamma set to maximum. Yeah, it's utterly ignoring the frame rate limit. I don't think that's making any difference. Oh, and it promptly dropped the frame rate. I hope. No, it hasn't. Yeah, yeah, it makes no difference. Oh, that's the edge of the world again. I am kind of tempted to restart. Just to give you all something different to look at, I suppose. That's another thing I wish they'd let us do. Change the game. Just come out and simply, not exit the game. Just at least for free reign, for free roam mode. I swear, some of those lighting effects come straight out of a Hollywood movie. I'm half expecting to see somebody in a hockey mask and a pitchfork. Yeah, that effect when the lightning comes is a bit weird for the sky. I won't say it gets pixelated. You get this sort of that sort of mesh texture is interesting. Is that the same watchtower we were at previously? Yeah, I do kind of like the lighting effects, but yeah, I wish they'd do something about that. Oops, that's not the door. I can't see the door. Oh, it's over the other side. Here we go. Now the frame rate's back up to, presumably because the world border is that way. Yeah, and 120 frames a second. And only 85% on the GPU. Go figure. And it's yeah. Very weird. CPU's kind of busy. I'm not sure what they're using the CPU for. Maybe it's for rain effects. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to just use this particular scene. That whole misty, foggy, rolling hills. It's not too dark. Let me drop the gamma down to default. Default's 2.2. Let's see whether that. It's still dark, but because we don't have the trees taking up the light, at least it's something to look at. Because the last time we got some really, really dark. I mean, it was almost pitch black. That looks nice, actually. That looks quite worthwhile. What's really interesting for me is if I come off the screen, it doesn't minimize, it doesn't stop playing. So I can do stuff over this side while you look at that. Yeah. For half a second I thought the Blue Yeti had gone off, but I just stopped talking. Calm after the storm. Yep. I think actually I'll use this particular scene rather than go and try and reload and end up in the middle of trees. I'm a funny person. As much as forests can be beautiful, my favorite landscapes have always been things like open desert or open moorland. I prefer that. I think part of the reason is you can see for sometimes huge distances, whereas if you're in the middle of a forest, obviously you can't see that far. I was once in rainforest in Mexico, southern Mexico, Palenque, I think it was. And I was on a tour, and they were taking us to see this pyramid that was in the jungle. And this wasn't necessarily hugely dense jungle. I mean, some of the densest jungle in the world is in the Panama region. There's some nightmarish jungle there. And the guide basically stopped and said, "There's the pyramid." And you looked and you couldn't see anything except jungle. And the pyramid, which was this massive structure, was completely obscured by the jungle. It's only when you got a bit closer and took a closer look that you realized, yeah, there was a pyramid there completely covered by jungle growth. And that's when you realize just how short view distances in real life in the middle of a jungle can be. And like I said, I think some of the worst jungles in the world are down in Panama. So, and I don't think southern Mexico is technically tropical. Yeah, you know what? I think we might just use this particular scene. I do want to find out what that odd pyramid-shaped object over there is. I'm assuming it's a rock formation. It just looks a bit out of place. But if I sweep this way, it doesn't look quite as good. Maybe if I come over here and... no, can't really adjust that. They just have to live with it. Yeah, this way doesn't look so fine. Of course, there's a very good chance that rock formation is actually beyond the edge of the border, but it does look a little out of place, doesn't it? Looks like somebody built a pyramid on the landscape. Do you know what? I got a suspicion that's beyond the edge of the map. Let's have a look, see if we can find out. Because now I'm sort of curious. And I should be able to find my way back. Yeah, I think that's beyond the edge of the map. It still looks weirdly out of place. Huh. Now we have a bit of bird song. I think when I stream this later, I think I'm going to, I am not going to advertise it in any way, shape or form as a video game. Just to see. Yeah, that's slightly disconcerting. I mean, I know why it's happening. We're climbing over rocks. It is a little weird, though. Oh, look at that. And as we get close to where it looked like there was a rock formation, like the face on Cydonia, it completely disappears and it's not real. How about that? In case anybody's not aware, the so-called face on Cydonia was a feature on Mars, in the Cydonia region of Mars. That's the name. But very early photographs, which were of comparatively low resolution, made it look like there was a face. And of course, all the conspiracy theorists and intelligent alien types, also there aren't, by the way, anyway, were reading all kinds of things into this picture. You know, it's a face, there are pyramids. Some people, you know, it made it into fiction, which is fine. Got no problem with that, by the way. People, you know, people accused NASA of hiding the truth, as they always do, despite the fact that they'd published this picture. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if somebody. Oh, and by the way, it's also worth mentioning that the original picture that this in quotes face was on, most of the picture you have, I think it's in one of the bottom corners, is this thing that looks a bit like a face. And in the end, NASA took, and it was some years later, because NASA's basically saying, no, that's not a face. It's natural rock formation. And a bunch of other people were saying, you're hiding the truth, and it's not. So anyway, in the end, NASA took a better photo of it, and there's absolutely nothing face-like about it. It's simply a result of low resolution, poor detail, and the human eye's ability to see faces where there aren't any. Yeah, and there's an example. That looked like a pyramid, and it isn't. Just out of curiosity, let's see if we can go over there. We can always come back, I hope. It's very funny, you know, coming down that, because that looks very much like the abandoned outlooks you get in The Long Dark. So when you get to the bottom, you half expect to be eaten by a bear. Well, quarter expected, except in my case, I have almost been eaten by a bear. Not quite coming down like that, though, but... And if anybody's seen some of my recent Long Dark live streams, you'll have realized that, in fact, I was nearly eaten by a bear and had to escape down a rather steep hillside, which frankly amazes me that I survived. Yeah, the scene is realistic enough I can almost smell it. Which sounds silly, but if you've ever been in places like this, you'll know what it smells like after the rain. I'm just wondering what that thing is over there. Oh, yeah, it's a house or hut or something. I mean, that's nice, a nice scene with the sunshine breaking through over there. But like I say, the funny thing is all that, I think, is beyond the world border. Oh, that's interesting. I was wondering what that was. Lucy apparently is soaking wet, so as she's running around, she's throwing off water droplets. That's an interesting idea. Now, this isn't where we started. I don't know where that. I don't know where the starting point is. Oh yeah, I've been here. Actually, the starting point's over here somewhere. Because I've been past that picture before. Oh, it has to be said, that's quite a nice view, isn't it? You know, the rock, and this is a silly comment maybe, the rock isn't even too shiny. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes these things, they almost seem too shiny. That's, uh, that's quite nice. And once again, what do you want to bet? If I were to restart the game, I'd get my frame rates back up. Yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm just out of idle curiosity. It only takes a moment. That's the good thing. It doesn't take too long to restart. And yeah, I know. Someday I'm going to actually have to try playing the game. I mean, technically what I should be doing is getting onto their Discord and participating and contributing, but I can almost guarantee that any thought I've come up with, they either had the thought or it's been suggested to them. So, yeah, there's almost no point in my contributing because I'm not going to come up with anything original. Yeah, look, frame rate's back up. Oh, that is nice. Yeah, that's actually quite a nice little scene. I might use that later. I wonder if we get a somewhat better view on the brow of that hill. Oh, I think that's the weather tower over there. Huh. Let's see if we can get to the weather tower. Yeah, why not? bet this place looks spectacular when there's snow on it. And now I can't see the weather tower. Oh, there it is. Yeah, let's see if we can actually get to it. That would be interesting. I mean, it was demonstrated in that picture back there. Yeah. Now, I must admit, when I say I wish there was more, the scenes were more alive, I don't necessarily mean you turn over a rock and there's a toad underneath, which would be realistic if nothing else. Yeah. But there should be birds at the very least. Of course, the problem with that is then they've got to come up with a bird model, which is going to take up even more performance. Yeah, a lot of the things I've suggested would take up more performance. So, wow, that is quite some distance. Yeah, I'm pretty certain this isn't where we started. We'll have a quick look. I think there's a bed in here, but... Oh, no, different place. Oh, look at that. Can I equip them? Don't know if I can put them on. Does it matter? It's got light bulbs in here. What is that? A fuse. Beans. Light bulb. Huh. Is there some way to put the... how do you actually put clothes on in the game? Spam. I wonder if they're aware that that's copyrighted. The name, I mean. Alright, where's the tower we were heading towards? It was this way, wasn't it? Oh, I've lost my... Oh, there it is. Hang on. Oh, remove. And what's this? Oh. Well, this is not intuitive, is it? There we go. Yep, they've updated us. Our boots. I wonder if we can even reach that. That is quite some distance away. Running is a toggle, by the way. That's running. That's not running. Oh, down comes the rain again. Isn't that a song by the Eurythmics? Here comes the rain again. Oops. Fell. Now I've got a choice. I can either try and make that, or I can head back to the tower. It's not like I had anything else planned for the morning. Wow, it looks like it would be quite a challenge getting down. I wonder if we can cheat and just jump off the edge. Okay, glitching there. Okay. Oops. Of course, I would be doing this in the dark, wouldn't I? And I've lost the advantage that I had by being above the tree line. Oh well. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, that's right, it could start raining and thundering and lightning, and I don't have a torch. And I just sacrificed the nice view that I had set up. It is now completely gone, and all I got is dark forest. Yes, I seem to be falling down a hillside. In fact, the game seems to be quite unhappy with me. Oh no, it's my bad. Yep, whatever I'm doing, game doesn't like it. Yeah, I got no idea which direction I was heading. I think it was this way. I think my best bet would be do what my bladder suggests. Go relieve that, and then by the time I get back, it'll probably be daylight. And now I do need to find a scene to try and stream from later. Yeah, in fact, I think I'll do that. So I am going to take a quick break after I unstuck myself. And rather than leave you looking at a blank screen, I'll put the Minecraft rain back on. So I will see you all in a couple of minutes. Well, I actually restarted the game and it's made no difference to the frame rate, so we're just going to have to wait for daylight, I think. Or not, as the case may be. Yeah, this is not so. Let's turn up the gamma settings. Let's give myself half a chance of seeing where I'm going. Here we go. Maybe. Alright, got a bit of a chance of seeing what I'm doing now. There we go. Now I can leap balletically. Over rocks and such. Yeah, that's a thought. I have them occasionally. Yeah. Frame rate towards the world. It's the world border. It kicks up the frame rate. That's interesting. One minor. Oh, there's an owl. One minor thing you would expect to. I tell you one thing you would expect to see in this kind of environment. Actually, there are a couple of things. You would expect depends on where you are, but given the number of buildings, I would expect to see trails, which we're not seeing. The other thing I would expect to see is game trails. If you've ever spent time in woods, you will find game trails where deer have gone backwards and forwards, and they do create these little narrow trails. You would add a hint of realism. I wonder if blackberries are available in season. In the game, I mean. Oh, that's another thing. I haven't seen any flowers. Have we seen flowers? I'm not sure. And we are entering a different form of woodland now. Yep, we're getting lower down. Looks a bit like autumn with those colours. I hope I'm going the right way. Does it really matter? I suppose it doesn't. Yeah, the forest is coming alive nicely. Oh, that's nice. Don't recommend this as a method of going through woodland in reality. You know, if I was any good at things like speedrunning, I'd be awfully tempted to do something like that with this. I almost guarantee if I were to search, I wonder if I would find speedrunning Prologue go way back. Yeah. If anybody feels like doing that and letting me know. Yeah, I definitely want to be higher up for the ASMR live stream later. Although this has this whole thing about the forest ambience. We are hearing birds that we didn't hear when we were above the tree line. Oh, excuse me. It sounds like a woodpecker. Squirrels! You would expect to see squirrels. If I were to close my eyes, you might well think with some of that birdsong that you were in a real forest, arguably. Oh, let's have a look, see what this is like. Yeah, where's the path that leads to this? That's an interesting question. Well, it's not that interesting, I suppose. There was a time I'd have been able to tell you what birds I was listening to. Not that I was ever an expert, but am I going the right way? Yes, I haven't been down here. Yeah, that's definitely a woodpecker. At least I haven't yet encountered the whole flooded map thing. I really want an open area where we can get more light. You know, get that whole sunlight aspect. Because now I don't know where I'm going. I mean, I've tried mostly to head in the same direction, but I could be going completely the wrong way. It's almost like me playing Warframe. Going very confidently at high speed, completely the wrong way and getting lost. I wonder if they got waterfalls in the game. Or rivers. I mean, I know I commented on that previously. I tried to think if I've actually ever seen a river. apart from the flooded map situation. Yeah, they definitely need a way to have multiple save games and a method of putting seeds in, because there's going to be some people like me who might just like a nice environment to walk around in. You know, literally treat it a bit like a hiking simulator without any risk of getting yourself killed or freezing to death. That's very evocative for me. Sorry, the bird song, I mean. I'm trying to remember where I'm being reminded of. You know, the silly thing is, I could just be being reminded of another video game, but I don't think so. I think I need to start heading higher. Oh no, I say I'm a little bit of a time constraint, only insofar as I'm going to be wanting to eat lunch at some point in the next hour, so I've got time. I shall be very irritated if we run across the edge of the map again. Well, one thing I haven't asked of the latest generation of people watching, how's your weekend going? For some reason, I'm just reminded of the woodlands around the Bisley shooting range in England. Between the various shooting ranges there's actually quite a lot of woodland. And there's quite a large number of shooting ranges. For some reason, I am reminded of an incident I hadn't thought of in ages. And this is at Bisley. It was at the running deer range in Bisley. That's where you have a cardboard cutout of a deer running backwards and forwards on wires. And on one occasion, when Nobody was shooting at that particular point. They were doing setup or something. A rabbit appeared on the bank, and running deer range, I think at that point is 100 meters, 100 yards as it was back then, 150 yards, something like that. And everybody decided it would be a good idea to shoot at this rabbit. And everybody missed. The rabbit just took off. Very wise of the rabbit, I hasten to add. Yeah, the Bisley shooting ranges, otherwise known as the armpit of the world, is a really odd mixture of things. The ranges themselves are surprisingly primitive, or at least they were back then. I don't know what they're like now. I mean, I'm talking 50 odd years ago. Maybe they renovated. But then you'd have the gun shop itself, which was this classic thing, smelt of gun oil and Hoppy's number 9, as I remember. And I'm going to have to restart, aren't I? Because the frame rate's tanking, and I'm pretty certain it's... Yep. We're getting stutter. Yep. In fact, what I'm going to do, because I'm not finding what I want to find, I'm going to actually restart and start with a different seed, because I should never have left the uplands that we started at. Except I wanted to see if I could get to the weather tower, and apparently I can't. Oh no, my frame rate's back up. Yeah, and I can't see where I'm going. So... But yeah, I do now need to start thinking about, okay, where am I going to set up for the afternoon live stream while I take a nap? So I think I will restart. Unless we've got something particularly nice over in this direction. Yeah, I think we're going to restart. Oops. Yeah, it's definitely not happy with me there. So now I definitely need to sit down and try and find a good place to do a live stream from. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, the idea of procedurally generated terrain is not new. There was an Atari 800/400 game back in the late 70s that actually used procedurally generated terrain that you flew over. I think it was called... Oh no, it's got river integration completed. That's interesting. I think it was called Escape from Fractalus, and that used procedural generation, as I remember. Oh, this looks familiar. How high up are we? We're in the pine tree zone. So we head uphill. Yeah, you'll notice the frame rate's back up. Maybe we can get somewhere above the tree line. See if we can find a suitable promontory. You'll notice I am starting to see a general sort of pattern here. So you'll notice that we went from treeless above, well, more or less treeless scrub above the tree line. Then we hit the tree line, which was pines, and then we hit deciduous forest lower down. So if I keep going up here, I should get above the tree line. That's my general idea. Assuming I don't hit the edge of the map, of course. Oh, there's the... Is that the weather tower? That would be funny if that was the case. Good heavens, she moves like a mountain goat. Ouch. Hope I'm facing the right way. Oh, I think this is their idea of a river? Ah. Yeah, I lost sight of what looked like a radio tower. Oh, there it is. And it is in fact a radio tower. Can you climb? Yeah, you can. At least it's not like Minecraft, where going up and going down can look exactly the same. You know what? I may, if this, depending on what the view is like from up here, I may use this. Because if nothing else, that would be, let's say, different, but still. Oh yeah, that's not bad, actually. Let's see if we can get all the way up. Oh, come on. I was looking for a place with a good view. I guess I might have found it. Yeah, I think I have. I mean, it's not quite what I was hoping for, but... that works. Yeah. That should give us a view of the hills over there. We got the trees, we got the rain, thunder, lightning. I think this will work for later. What time is it? Oh, my goodness. I've been going for nearly an hour and 45 minutes. And that direction appears to be the one to look at for performance. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, if I get it positioned just right, you can't tell that I'm on the radio tower. Oh, there's another one over there. How weird. You know what? That doesn't look that different from the Minecraft stream I did. You could do this in Minecraft almost. Right, well. So, as you may have gathered, there will almost certainly be an ASMR live stream of this for those who wish to take a nap through the afternoon, like myself. I'll probably start that in about, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. It'll run for about 3 or 4 hours, depending on what I'm doing. So, to everybody who's watching, thank you very much. Hope you found this moderately entertaining as I blather on endlessly while walking through a endless forest. Hope you join me for the live stream later. And if you don't, well, thanks for the likes. If anybody has subscribed, thank you for that. I haven't checked. Regular schedule will resume tomorrow, but I will be back after the live stream, the ASMR live stream. I will almost certainly be back with Warframe. And I say things like almost certainly, it's the weekend. I reserve the right to stream or not to stream, or take a break, which is my... Yeah. I definitely don't do 3 times a day. Gives me a chance to work on other things as well, which I did yesterday as it happens. So, the results of which are slowly being published over the next 2 weeks, if anyone's interested in watching how to do the mastery level tests in Warframe without commentary. So anyway, yeah, hope you all have a good weekend. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.